Okay, I think we're live now. Let me see. Can everyone hear me? Hello, hello. Let's see. Okay, I don't see anyone just yet. Okay, I have 21 people here. Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining. So hi Tatiana. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining. Okay, so today's webinar will be for designers, but not only for designers. If you're working in tech, let's say you're in HR, you're a project manager, it will be helpful. You'll learn something new, you'll learn some vocabulary, grammar, and we'll brush up on some soft skills. So before we dive in, let's go over some webinar rules. So I would love you guys to be active, to take notes, and let's make sure that we keep it polite in the chat. So the webinar will be an hour long. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. We also have Julia who will be monitoring the chat for us, so we can ask her questions too. And just stick around for little bonus, a little gift. Okay, let's dive in. So let's go over our agenda. So today we'll cover some words and phrases that you need to know as a designer, some real life English, so how to understand client feedback, pronunciation, so 10 design terms that you might probably saying wrong, and soft skills. So we'll learn how to talk about yourself and your portfolio. We'll also have some time for Q&A session in the end. So let's dive right in. A little bit about me. So my name is Zina. I'm a language and soft skill coach at English for IT. I'm also a freelance UX designer. I actually started my tech journey almost 10 years ago as a content writer and English translator. But after moving to the States, I transitioned into design, and it's been amazing. I'm loving it. And I would love to know a little bit about you guys. So if you could just write in the chat your name and what you do and maybe where you're from, that would be lovely. And while you're doing that, I'll talk a bit about English for IT. I don't know if everyone's familiar with our company, but we are language and soft skills platform for tech professionals worldwide. So you can purchase online classes, online courses. We are worldwide. We operate worldwide. We have over 11 years of experience. And we also teach Spanish, so it's not just English. Okay, I see a few comments right here. Julia, okay, Julia works in EdTech. Okay, Julia is very excited about this webinar. Okay, Nastia. Okay, Nastia is from Lviv, and she is a graphic designer. She wants to transition into UI UX design. Okay, amazing. Christine is a UI UX designer. Welcome, fellow designers. It's really nice to see you. Okay, keep the comments coming. I'll just move on, and we'll dive right into the vocabulary, and I'll need you guys to be active for this one as well. So how many of these do you know? How many words and phrases do you know? Some might be new for you. So let's see. We have handoff, we have scale, we have cart, color palette, we have canvas, we have bounce, white space, asset, tweak, and swap between. So let me know which ones are new for you. If you could just type it out in the chat. That would be great. Okay, I see Maria. Maria is from Nipra. Actually, I'm also from Nipra. Hi, Maria. Maria is a UI UX designer. Amazing. Okay, handoff. It's handoff for Julia. Okay, hi, Olga. Welcome. Okay, tweak. Alrighty, tweak, handoff. Okay, those two are the leaders so far. Okay, let's see. So we'll start with assets, okay? So assets are your visual elements or files, such as icons, mockups, or illustrations. So think of your UI library, right? You have your buttons. It could be assets, could be your photos too. It's just general word for your visual elements. Okay, I see another comment. Hi, Norbe. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. Graphic designer. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Julia. Okay, alrighty. So, this icon, what is it called? Cart. Okay, cart. Any other thoughts? Cart, maybe something else. Okay, no. All right, it is a cart. So shopping cart or cart to simply put it. So the example would be, have you implemented an add to cart button? So shopping cart or in general, in short, cart. Okay, then we have the word canvas. So canvas is a space where you create and arrange your design elements. So I know that a lot of, most of at least UI UX designers work in Figma, I would assume, at least nowadays. So when you start a new project, right, you enter the space, the first thing you see is canvas. So this is where you create and you design. I don't know. I'm sure it's the same in other tools like Illustrator. So same thing, canvas. Okay, the word tweak, you guys been asking for it. So to tweak means to make small changes or adjustments. So let's look at the example. The design is almost ready. Just need to tweak the spacing a bit. So to tweak, again, it's small adjustments. It doesn't mean that you have to redesign the whole thing, start from scratch, start anew. It's just to make small changes, to tweak something, okay? Then let's move on to color palette. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this one, but it's tricky when it comes to pronunciation. So you don't say color. You don't say the oh sound. You say sound. It's color. Okay, so the color palette is a set of colors you use for a specific design project. I'm sure you all are familiar with this one. Okay, handoff. So handoff is a noun, but there's also a verb. So to hand off is written in two different words. It basically means to transfer your work to another person or team. So let's say you're finished with your designs, you're finished with your projects, and you want to hand off that project, those designs, okay? So let's look at the example. We're ready for handoff. The development team can now start implementing the new screens. Or another example, explore features built for better design handoff. Okay, is everything clear here? So handoff basically means to transfer. It's a process. It's an event, okay? Handoff. Alrighty, swap between. So to swap between something means to change from one thing to another. How can users swap between light and dark modes? So think of a toggle button, right? So you swap between something, same thing. Okay, switch and swap. Okay, the word scale. To scale means to grow smoothly and without problems. In design, when you think about scaling, you think of responsive design, right? It's the design that fits all screens, either it's mobile, tablet, or PC screen. So we have scale up and scale down. It can also mean make something larger, make something smaller. So let's look at the example. Scale your design systems as your product grows. Powerful design systems capabilities like variable modes help you scale across use cases, themes, and more. So here, the word scale means to grow, right? You can also say that the company has scaled up after they received additional funding, right? So they probably hired new employees. So they scaled up. So it means they grew. Okay, the word bounce. Do you guys know this word, bounce? Anyone? Well, I think most of you just didn't know the tweak and handoff. Let's see. Let's see if we have any comments. If not, we'll move on. So the word bounce means to leave a website or app right away. So users will bounce if the layout is confusing. You must have heard of the term bounce rate. Exactly. Thank you, Maria. So the term, it's a metric, right? It's a metric that they use in digital marketing and design. So this metric they often use to actually judge your design. I heard about bounce in emails, like the email bounced, right? Exactly. So it didn't go through. That email didn't go through, right? And there's another use case for this word. It's more casual. So let's say you are hanging out with your friends, right? You're at a brunch or something, and you need to leave. You need to go. So you say, sorry, guys, I gotta bounce. My Uber is here. So this is another way of using this word. Okay. White space. So white space is your negative space. It's an empty space between elements. So it doesn't necessarily have to be white all the time. And it's not. It's not white. It just means that there is nothing there. So we need more white space on the landing page. I feel like when I was starting out as a designer, I think I saw a lot of my colleagues making same mistakes. I was doing the same mistake, is just cluttering my designs, adding a lot of elements to the design. So I didn't really leave much white space. So I can see a lot of juniors making this mistake. Okay, so quick tip. We always say landing page. We never say landing. And this is something that I've noticed when I used to work in Kiev back in the days. So we would just say landing, but native speakers say landing page. So I'm working on a new landing page. Alrighty, let's look at some real life English. Here we'll try to understand client feedback or decipher client feedback. So English speaking clients and colleagues often soften negative feedback, and it's important to read between the lines. Okay, and here I want you guys to be active in the chat. So is the following feedback positive or negative? So the work looks okay. What do you guys think? Is it positive or is it negative? I'll wait for a few seconds. Okay, negative. Neutral. Okay. Anyone else? Negative. Okay, let's see. So I would say that this feedback is more negative. I did like Julia's comment. At the end of the day, it would still be on a more neutral side. So okay means all right. So it's not great, but it's not bad either. It's somewhere in between. So it's neutral, but a little bit more negative. So let's say, think of negative neutral, okay? So the work looks okay. So you can do better, okay? We can do better. How about this one? This is pretty good. Is this positive or negative? What do you guys think? Okay, also Christine mentioned so-so, and brother Olga said rather negative. Okay, good. What about this one? Positive, quite positive. Okay, positive, amazing. Yes, so this is mostly positive. Pretty good is already good, but could be even better. Oh, Julie is asking, have you faced this in real life at work when working with your US colleagues, clients? Yes, and I will say that I did receive a lot of like neutral feedback, and I would almost have to like fish out. I don't want to say fish for compliments, but in general, like I remember working on this app is it was a cryptocurrency wallet app, and so the person I was working with, he is actually Chinese, my CEO, but he grew up in America, so there was definitely like a little cultural barrier there. And I would say that he was pretty straightforward. So at the end of the day, I could really understand his feedback because he was just upfront about everything. So I didn't really have to decipher things, but he would say things like okay or pretty good. So would definitely hear that a lot. Okay, this one is positive, but is Daniel really loving it? That's the question. Is he loving it? So I would say that the most positive feedback that you can receive would be this. I love this. So Daniel is absolutely ecstatic. This is the best design Daniel's ever seen in his life. He's loving it. He's loving it. He's there for it. Okay. What about this one? So, what does this feedback mean? We're not talking about whether it's positive or negative. We're talking about what it means. So, Daniel says, I'm not sure about this concept. So, what do you guys think? I'm not sure about this concept. Let me see. Okay, Christine says Daniel doesn't agree with the concept. Okay, I love this. Daniel doesn't agree with the concept. Okay, anyone else? So you can say that Daniel is a little bit on the fence about it, right? Okay, positive. You think it's positive? You think it's positive? He's not quite sure. He's not quite sure. Okay, design doesn't meet his vision. Okay, or his expectations, right? Okay, well, let's look into it. So, basically, it means that Daniel doesn't like it. So, I'm not sure means I don't like something. And I like what Christine said. So Daniel doesn't really agree with it, right? I won't say that it means he disagrees with everything. So again, you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to redo the whole thing. He might just not like certain parts, right? So again, it's probably on the more like um, negative neutral sides. Okay. So that means I'm not sure, means I don't like. Okay, and what about this one? So Daniel says, this layout is a little weird. What does that mean? What does Daniel mean by a little weird? Or you can say a little off. The layout is a little off. Okay, just waiting for you guys' comments. Okay, totally dislike the layout. Okay. He hates the layout, right? Totally dislikes it. Okay. Anyone else? Daniel doesn't like the layout. Okay, he doesn't like the layout. Let's see. So something is weird means that something needs to be fixed. Something is off. So I would say that the word weird is pretty powerful. Um, okay, Ivan says he looks at the mirror. Okay. Um, yeah, so the word weird is pretty powerful. So you don't really hear it quite often, but it basically means that the design has to be fixed ASAP. I hear actually in the UK, people might say the layout is a little cheeky. Really like that word, cheeky. It's kind of cute. So yeah, the layout is off, right? So you need to get back to iterations. Okay, and last but not least, the font size here seems off. I used it earlier. What do you guys think it means? The font size here seems off. What do you guys think it means? I used it earlier. Okay, I'm just gonna have a sip of water while you guys are typing. Okay, font size needs to be changed. Okay. Okay, so Daniel wants us to change the font. Okay. And you're right. Sometimes something seems off. It means something is wrong or something doesn't look right. So most likely Daniel wants us to change it, right? Okay, font doesn't fit, right? Something is off. So it doesn't matter. Maybe he wants to, change the bold font. He wants to, just basically make some adjustments, right? Or maybe it just doesn't fit. We need to come up with a different font. We need to find different family, right? Okay, and this screen is a bit too busy, overwhelming. What do you guys think it means? I thought that one was the last one, but I guess it's not. So a bit too busy / overwhelming. What does it mean? Any ideas? Any guesses? I was about to answer that question actually. How useful is this webinar? I thought it was one of you guys. It's like, yeah, it's pretty useful. It's great. Okay. I can't see your comments. Too busy, overwhelming. This screen is a bit too busy, overwhelming. Help. Send help. Can see your guys' comments. I think I gave you guys a little tip earlier with that white space. Okay, Daniel wants to clean the design. Okay, like a cleaner design. Okay, a lot of elements. Amazing. Exactly, white space. Okay, exactly. So a bit too busy, overwhelming means that the design needs to be simplified. It's cluttered. There's too many things going on, right? It's too much. You can say it's flashy, right? Or again, it's cluttered. Okay, designs are too much, so many different elements. Okay, on the canvas. Okay, amazing. Thank you guys. You're the best. Okay, so we've covered that part. Let's dive into pronunciation. Here we have a few tricky ones and a few easy ones here. So this one should be easy. It's a browser. And I was actually curious. Are you guys Team Chrome or Team Safari? Personally, I'm a Chrome girly. I use Chrome all the time if I'm not on my phone. But I've actually met quite a few people that like Safari. I just feel like Chrome is like really, connected. It's easy to log in everywhere. Okay, Chrome, Team Chrome. Okay, amazing, Chrome. Yeah, I was just curious, or maybe there's another browser that we don't know about, and you guys shouldn't gatekeep and just tell us if there's another browser out there that we don't know about. Okay, Team Chrome. Cool. Okay, everyone's using Chrome. Amazing. Okay, let's move on. Opera. Okay, Opera. Firefox. Wait, is this a prank? No, but actually, I know people would use Opera Firefox back in the days, but I don't see. Are they around actually? I don't know. I wonder if they're around. I'm curious. Need to look into that. Google it. Thank you. Will do. Sir, yes, sir. Okay. This is UX. So I hear some people say UX, but it's actually UX. So UX, UI designer. And this one is SFX. So SFX stands for special effects. SFX. A lot of abbreviations, if you come across some abbreviations, they're usually spelled out by letters, unless there's some vowels in there, or unless they're longer. So in this case, it's just SFX. Okay, bold font, bold font. So this one is a little tricky because we have a word bald. So bald means you're balding, right? You don't have hair, right? Or you're in the process of shedding hair. So bold, you spell or say with an O, bald with an sound. So bold font is with an O. Okay. This one. Okay, I think this is the trickiest one. You say Adobe. So think of a bee, like a bumblebee. Adobe. I hear some people say Adobe, maybe, as far as I can remember, but it's actually Adobe. And then color. I mentioned this one earlier. So color palette. You say it with a sound. Similar to colleague, actually. You say the word colleague with an as well instead of a o. Okay, color palette. Mock-up. So with this one, you just have to pay attention to the stress. So we say mock up, not mock up. So the stress is on the first syllable, mock up. And similar to mock up is the layout. It's also, we stress the first syllable, layout. Then the word image. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this one, image. And then we have JPEG or JPG. So most of the times I hear people say JPEG, but it's totally okay to say JPG as well. JPEG is just, I would say, is just a little more common. Okay. Thank you for sticking around. We're 30 minutes into our webinar, and thank you so much for cooperating in the chat. You guys are amazing. You guys are lovely. So this is a little gift, a little bonus that I mentioned in the beginning. You guys can use the promo code DESIGN to get 50% off English for Tech course, and it's only during our live webinar. Here we posted a link so you can check it out. You can check it out right now, or you can check it out after. So you'll learn vocabulary, you'll learn grammar, you'll learn soft skills. You can also chat with mentor there. There are a lot of things that I'll dive into at the end of our webinar, but I'm just throwing it in right now. So in case you guys want to take a quick look. Okay, so let's talk about soft skills. And here we'll go over how to talk about yourself and your portfolio. So when we talk about yourself, we want to describe who we are, what we do. And here's a simple structure. So who you are, how you can help, and how to get in touch. So let's say you're at an event, right? And you're approached by somebody, or you're trying to meet someone, you're trying to introduce yourself. And this is right here, this is a little example that I'll read out for you guys. Okay, so I'm Leah, a designer from Paris. I spent the last 10 years creating designs in the fintech space. I'm now looking for something exciting to work on. I help teams identify business opportunities and collaborate with stakeholders to develop effective solutions. Let's connect. Feel free to email me or message me on LinkedIn. So this is a simple structure that you can use whenever you're meeting people, right? Introducing yourself when you're networking. And I don't know if some of you guys have been following English for IT for quite some time, because this reminds me of something, and I wonder if you guys know what it is. Because this is like a short presentation, right? This is the short about me, and there's a term for it, and I wonder if you guys know it. Anyone? If not, it's totally fine. So this is basically your elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch is a short about me, is a short presentation that has to fit within that time span. So time limit while you're in the elevator. So it should be short. It should be under maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. And yeah, this is a simple structure for you guys to use. And obviously, you can check out more by visiting the link. This is something that the course covers and will help you guys create your elevator pitch. Okay, so diving deep into design projects. So I hear people say a lot, oh, this is a redesign. Look at my design. It doesn't have to be a redesign. Just look at my designs. And that's it, right? Without anything to support it. So you want to tell a story. Most of the times when you showcase your design, you present it to hiring managers, right? So you need to have some sort of structure. You need to tell a story. What I personally like to do when I see other people doing is starting with a problem, right? Because at the end of the day, any design solves a problem, right? So, what are you trying to solve? What was it based on feedback, maybe something personal, or there was a pattern that you noticed? So, let's look at the example. I noticed Spotify users often complain about how cluttered or busy the playlist screen felt. So you can start with that. You can start with the problem whenever you're, again, showcasing your design. It can either be a case study, long case study, it can be a short presentation. It's up to you. Obviously, for a longer case study, you might want to, add more details to it. But this is just the essence. This is just the structure. Then I would follow with a little bit of research. So talk about your research. This is you've noticed a problem. How did you notice that problem? Even a light research make your project more credible. And I know that people who are in UX tend to write longer case study versus people who are in UI, but I think it's beneficial for everyone, even I would assume graphic designers, to give a little bit of background, give a little bit of information. So a few tips here. So when you're doing your research, I would look, if it's an app, I would look at App Store reviews or Google Play reviews. I would do competitor analysis. One thing I wanted to add, quick tip from me, is I love reading Reddit, doing research on Reddit, as well as user interviews there. So I would just post a link. It depends if the communities there allow to post links, but this is something that I do. This is part of my research process. And by the way, highly recommend checking out a Medium article that I wrote. We maybe we'll send it out later for you guys. I don't actually have it ready, but yeah, look into Reddit. This is something that a lot of Americans use. Super cool platform, and yeah, you can see reviews there on practically anything. So let's look at the example. I read through app reviews and found that users struggle to find the add to playlist button. This is how you follow. Um, and this is how you talk about research. Then I would talk about your process. And this is something that the hiring managers want to hear. This is something that they often ask. They ask about your creative process or how you do things, right? So what steps did you take? So you can say, I identified user pain points through App Store reviews. You can talk about the tools that you use. So obviously, there are your design tools, but there could be supportive tools like Notion. Let's say you use Notion for organizing feedback and documenting your decisions. You can throw in as many tools as you'd like, and also put that on your resume as well. I think that they love to see that. And then talk about your structure, how you work. So you can say that I broke the project into 3 phases: research, design, feedback. You can also say, I actually created certain time frames for myself. I have to do wireframes by Friday. So talk a little bit about your structure and how you work. Okay, moving on. I love talking about challenges, and this is also something that hiring managers often ask as a follow-up question. Be honest, talk about your challenges, talk about hurdles, struggles, and most importantly, how you overcame it. You can say, it was hard to simplify the interface without losing key functions. I overcame it by prototyping 3 layout options and running quick tests with users to see what felt most intuitive. Their feedback helped me cut what wasn't necessary. This is one of the examples, how you talk about challenges, about struggles. Um, and number 5, the outcome. So talk about the outcome. What changed? Why is the new version better? Include visuals if possible. So what they love to see is you, for example, you came up with initial designs, right? But after you tested it, you changed them. So show them that process, show them the change, what you realized. It's at the end of the day, it's not about the designs, it's not about the visuals, it's about your thought process. And this is what they want to see. So you can say the final version highlights the most used features and reduces visual noise, clutter. Users said it felt cleaner and less overwhelming. We've been using a lot of these as synonyms, right? Visual noise, clutter, white space. What else was it? Busy, right? So a lot of synonyms for you guys. Okay, and again, last but not least, the next steps. So show that you're thinking forward. You can say, I'd like to build a clickable prototype next and test it with a few more users to get deeper feedback. A lot of the times, so let's say you're working on a project, but then the project is not finished, but you are trying to switch jobs, you're trying to find another job. So when your project is unfinished, you want to talk about next steps and how you see that project, that design moving forward. Talk about it in the end. And a little tip, so you don't need a full case study. Even short projects benefit from the structure. It just shows how you think, how you solve problems, and how you reflect on your work. I know some of my colleagues, they were telling me how they would just create a little short presentation for their interviews instead of going to their portfolio and reading off of the online portfolio from their case studies. Because usually those case studies, at least for UX designers, they can be pretty long. So try to make it short and sweet, and you'll be good, and you'll be good. Okay, so if you want to learn more soft skills, upgrade your soft skills, polish, brush up on your soft skills, this is something that we offer at English for IT. And don't forget, you can use the promo code DESIGN to get the sweet 50% off deal only during this webinar. So let me walk you through the course program. We have 6 modules and additional one. You don't have to be designer. You just have to be in tech. You can be, again, HR, project manager, front end. You can be a developer. Everyone will benefit from this course if you're in tech. So in the first module, you'll learn about Web3. You'll learn idioms. You'll learn collocations, new terms. Also, grammar, your present tenses, your present continuous, your present simple. At the end of the day, this is just the base that you need to, communicate, just so people will understand you. You don't need all, other like hard tenses, but definitely it's in there as well. Then there are some case studies that you can look at and learn from. We are covering pronunciation and, again, soft skills and speaking. So in the first module, you'll learn about elevator pitch and we'll help you craft it. Okay, so the course starts today. It's 7 weeks long, but we're actually adding additional 2 weeks for you guys. And again, it's online and you can take it on your phone, on your laptop. It's super easy. The design is very user-friendly. So why are we talking about weeks? So there are different tiers, and we'll get into it. There are different tiers. The 9 weeks means that you'll get access to a mentor for those 9 weeks. But after completing the course, you'll still be able to access it. So you'll have a lifetime access to the course. So these are the tiers. We have junior, we have middle, and we have senior. So it's a pretty good deal right here. For the junior, unfortunately, you don't get a human mentor, but you still get all the other perks and your unlimited access. There are video and audio lessons. There are plenty of things to look into, learn from, and you'll have access to private Telegram chat if you have any questions. And you also will be able to network and probably practice your elevator pitch there. And starting with middle, you'll be able to have access to your human mentor and receive direct feedback on speaking and pronunciation, if that's something you're specifically worried about. And also you'll get blockchain verified certificate starting with the middle tier. And last tier, senior, you actually get 6 weekly classes with native speaker. Pretty sweet deal. And again, you can stretch it out 6 weeks, 6 weeks with a native speaker, 7 to 9 weeks total. So I'm sure you guys will be able to juggle, work and other things with, this program. It's, at the end of the day, it doesn't take too much of your time. You can just spend maybe an hour a day, 30 minutes a day. Think of it as your Duolingo, if you guys use Duolingo. Consistency is key. This is the most important part. Okay, and yeah, with the senior, you do get individual plan for further study based on your progress. So we're thinking ahead. Yeah, a little bit about the certificate. So again, you do get this blockchain verified certificate that you can add to your LinkedIn. And this is the best part. So upon completion, you'll be able to add it to your LinkedIn to show off. And yeah, let's look at some of the reviews. So these are the reviews from the designers that took this course. And as you can see, they posted their certificates, they created a post. They loved it. I personally think it's great, especially, again, there's a little bit of everything in there. There's your grammar, your pronunciation. Everyone will find something useful. Okay, so what now? You can click on the link that we have in the chat. Also, at the end of the webinar, I forgot if I mentioned that, but we will send out an email to you guys with, again, the link and the promo code. And this promo code is actually active. You can use it until Friday, so hurry up. It has to be today, tomorrow, or Friday. So you have a few days left to get the 50% off. And again, at the end of the day, you'll get lifetime access. So personally, I think it's a pretty sweet deal. So actually, we finished quite early. So we can just hang out here for a little bit. You guys, if you guys have any questions, I can answer your questions. There's also Julia here who can help me with any questions about the course. So yeah, let's chat. Let's chat. Actually, I was actually curious to ask you guys, how often do you go to networking events? I know during COVID, we haven't been networking as much, and they would create maybe like online spaces, online communities for that. Even the Twitter spaces, as far as I remember. Also, was there, oh my God, what was that app called? What was that app called? Totally forgot about it. I think it kind of fizzled out. It was pretty similar to Twitter Spaces, where everyone would network. I would actually find really cool groups there. So yeah, I would love to hear your experience. How often do you go to networking events? Lunch Club. I think it was Lunch Club. I think it was Lunch Club. Yes, something. It was something club. Can't really remember. It's quite some time ago. Okay, anyone? Or do you guys even just reach out to people on LinkedIn? I'm just curious because at the end of the day, networking is key, and this is what I hear. I believe 75% of hires get their job through networking. So this is pretty important. Okay, networking events are great, but you have to have a killer elevator pitch and confidence. Absolutely. And you have to be curious. At the end of the day, you have to be curious and yeah, confident enough to just walk up to a person, especially if that's a person you admire, that you like, that you know, maybe it's a celebrity, somebody that you want to meet. And I think it's super cool if if you just think of it, in a like a good light, and you're just you're just curious about that person. You just want to reach out. You just want to connect. Okay, anyone? I guess nobody's attending any events here. But what about LinkedIn? Do you guys reach out to people on LinkedIn at all? just maybe when you're applying to jobs? Would you recommend an online course or individual English lesson with a teacher? So that's a good question, actually. I think it really depends on how much time you have, but I'm sure you'll be able to squeeze in a little lesson, little one-on-one lesson with the teacher, hour lesson. I'm sure you'll be able to do that still if you have like a busy schedule. But I think I think both at the end of the day, because online course, that's something that you can do on your own. But again, you do want to have someone to help you out, right? Someone to correct you. Maybe there are specific things that you want to learn, right? That maybe not in the course. Maybe they're just like specific to your area, right? Again, you want to learn more design terms, or let's say you work in fintech, you want to learn more fintech terminology. So I think both. For me, I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you guys okay with taking online course on your own, or would you guys prefer a mentor? I'm curious. Because sometimes, personally, for me, I feel like I learn better when there's somebody who's guiding me, um, when there's somebody I can lean on and ask questions, because I always ask a lot of questions. So I'm just curious. Can't really see any of the comments. I wonder if anyone's still around. Seems like 27 people are watching the webinar, or 25 now. Okay. Um, uh, the high bounce rate, or a word that we new word that we learned, bounce rate, or bounce. People are bouncing. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I want to hear, about your networking. I want to hear if you're comfortable taking the class on your own, if you're the kind of person. Okay, Christine, I used to have interview and asked about price range and replied it's fair price range for everyone. Would it be okay to push the question for the exact number of range? So, okay, let me read this one more time. So, I'm going to ask about price range. Is fair price range for everyone? Okay. Yeah, that's actually pretty common, for them to say that, it's within, market range. It's yeah, usually this is how they would respond. um i think I think it's okay to ask for exact number, but it's actually, they would probably ask what you're looking for, and you can, mention the number. You can go higher and then negotiate. Don't go too high because it can be a turnoff. Actually, I don't know if you guys are on TikTok, but I do find a lot of cool videos and just like info about interviews, or just like, again, design, let's say any field, really. So when I was getting ready for one of the interviews, I looked up interview prep on TikTok, and there are actually a lot of hiring managers, just HRs, who are talking about, tips. They're giving you tips on the interview, and just useful info. So highly recommend going on TikTok and looking up some videos. They'll probably give you a better answer, but from what I know, it's totally okay to give the exact number. Okay, Igor is saying working with mentors definitely accelerates progress and helps prevent repeating personal mistakes. This is a really good take. Repeating personal mistakes. I feel like we do that a lot unless somebody, helps us. Somebody, tells us that we're we're wrong, basically. And you know, it's also good to learn through associations. This like Adobe, like Bumblebee. This is one of the ways to prevent, these mistakes from happening. So, and I agree. I definitely love mentors. It's just sometimes, at least here in the US, let's say I want to get a mentor, it would probably be really expensive. And again, it depends. It depends on the mentor. But if you want somebody who is from here, that would probably cost me quite a bit because the hourly pay is pretty high. And that's why all the services, unfortunately, are really expensive here. But yeah, always nice to have mentors. Okay, anyone else? I love that you guys are sharing your experiences with me. This is amazing. Okay, anyone else? Maybe you guys can share a story, like your interview story would be fun to hear. Or anything design related too. Igor, do you work in design, by the way? Because I can't remember if I saw your comments when I was asking you guys about your jobs and for your names. Okay, yeah, I don't see you, Igor. Yeah, I'm just curious. Okay, Igor is a developer, amazing. So you do work with a lot of designers. Are you front end or back end or full stack? Oh, and by the way, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I don't know, I forget if I mentioned this earlier. Feel free to connect. Would love to connect with you guys too. So it's Zina Gnedenkova on LinkedIn, same as here. So Igor, are you full stack, front end, back end? I know this is something that also hiring managers ask about, is how you work in a team and how you work with developers. So they would ask about that. Even the word handoff, right, that we learned, it's about handing off the project. So what are the deliverables that you are preparing for developers? They'll ask you about deliverables. Okay, front end, and yes, it's part of my daily routine to interact with the design team. Amazing. I love front end developers. I always learn so much because personally I don't code. Maybe that's something that I'll pick up later, work on later with the mentor, maybe. Um, yeah, but I always learn something new because you guys are working with these functions directly, and then you can tell us like, oh, okay, this actually doesn't work, we have to switch things up. And I love the this current project that I'm working on. I learn a lot from my front end developer colleague because especially when it comes to interactions in like, let's say, buttons, let's say like swipes, anything that when it comes down to interactions, I learn a lot of new things because the when you develop things in Figma or design things in Figma, it's pretty static. So yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, thank you for joining. It's important to stay on the same page with them. Totally, totally. And yeah, I saw when I was starting out, definitely I saw a little like tension. There might be tension, between the teams. It's important to defend your designs, and that's a tip for my designers out there. It's important to defend your designs and explain them well, just so people will understand you. So we were talking about deciphering clients' feedback, right? But they also have to be able to decipher you and understand you. Okay, guys. So I think a 1 minute left. It's 1 minute left. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Um, I hope you learned something new. And yeah, please feel free to check out English for IT and English for Tech course. We'll send out emails for you guys. And yeah, thank you so much. And don't be shy. Send me an invite on LinkedIn. Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye. Have good rest of your day. Thank you.